NCR is known for doing everything that is uncommon. यहाँ पे तो when I hear brokers saying, sir ये हो रहा है, but ये भी होता है, ये भी होता है. Eventually, every city will have its own mini cities in a place like India. The key is, can you create clusters which are self-sufficient? If that is done, then the outside city does not matter to you. We need to have cities where prices grow, but if they grow in line without pricing the city out. Mumbai for many years just stopped. If you ask what was new in Mumbai, nothing. And I'll not be surprised if Gurgaon rates become as high as Mumbai in the next 5 years.
Now end users have become underwritten.
So NRI is for a guy sitting in the US or London and buying in Mumbai. That is suicide.
What would be the first signs of this realty cycles that people should track?
I think the need of the hour is actually trusted guides.
Why does NCR real estate has that reputation, and why are you so skeptical about it?
No, I'm not skeptical about NCR market. I find it the most fascinating market.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for showering so much love on our inaugural episode last week. To continue those same insightful conversations, today we have a very special guest. If you're an X or Twitter, as you would call it, and take even minute interest in real estate, then you'd know who we have today. Mumbai se aaya mera dost ko salam karo. So welcome Vishal to the F&O market of India's real estate, aka New Delhi. So these are your words, not mine. Why does NCR real estate has that reputation, and why are you so skeptical about it?
No, I'm not skeptical about NCR market. I find it the most fascinating market. See, I'm from a market like Mumbai, which is very unexciting. मतलब सब लोग they're going straight in one track, doing their bit. ये जो dynamism, energy, tactics, strategy, it really is there only in NCR. Okay, तो मजा as an observer, if I was to relocate to any other market in India, okay, for real estate, commentary and tracking, it would be NCR. इतना मजा यहाँ पे.
इतना मसाला और कहीं मिलेगा नहीं.
कहीं नहीं मिलेगा ना. And there is, see, the thrill really comes when you are seeing activities which are very uncommon. NCR is known for doing everything that is uncommon. Okay, everything that is virtually not in the rule book. Okay, those tactics somehow are thrown up. Mumbai, Bangalore, I travel there also very often. You know, there's a pattern, people follow it. यहाँ पे तो when I hear brokers saying कि sir ये हो रहा है, so ये भी होता है. So it's a very interesting market, and FNOC, real estate, everywhere is actually in one layer an F&O market. Why? Because it's one of the few businesses where a builder puts in say 10%, and rest of the amount he's counting to a large extent on customer advances.
Right.
Okay? So he's already played that layer of F&O. वो 100 crore का project कर रहा है 10 crore से. NCR is the
Extreme side of it.
No, it does a double whammy, because the investor is playing the same game. Investor is paying money to the builder. Builder तो ठीक है 100 crore का project कर रहा है 10 crore डाल के. Then Gaurav goes to buy a house there.
Right.
ठीक है 10 crore का घर है, वो डालेगा 1 crore. And he's counting the 9 crore, what will I do? So it's two layers of, with very low exposure, you're playing a game.
Right.
And if Gaurav fails to make his commitment, it invariably impacts the parent project, the builder project.
Right.
That's why I call it the F&O market, and I think you should take it as a compliment.
In a bull market, it works out very well for everybody. Everybody is enjoying.
Right.
But as soon as the market slows down, and F&O, I actually very strongly agree with that analogy, because in future option, if anybody understands, there's a premium decay. If the market slows down, it becomes very hard for everybody.
So I think you should not take my assertion that it's the F&O capital of India. It's a compliment. It's fun to track for me. The investors, they are going there with their eyes wide open.
Right.
So Vishal, you track markets all across India, right? My question to you is, have you seen pre-RERA marketing happening anywhere else?
Because every graded developer also, or probably the channel partners, not the developer himself, but the channel partners would start marketing these projects 3 months, sometimes even much more longer before the RERA even actually comes. So is RERA even watching?
So see, I'm sure RERA is watching, but it's either helpless is the wrong word. Either they don't want to act, or they can't act. And I think in most markets of India, real estate and politics is so well entrenched that even powerful regulators become weak. But to answer your question, there are very few markets where even top players do marketing pre-RERA. But I'll tell you one very good one anecdote in this. The last time I came to NCR when we had met, I asked one builder the same question. He had not done, forget pre-RERA approval. Okay? He had not applied for RERA. Okay? But he was getting demand and somebody told me, "Aap baat kar lo." I asked him, why do you do this? He said, "Vishal ji, अगर कस्टमर भाग के मुझे पैसा दे रहा है, मैं क्यों ना बोलूं? Why are you blaming me? He is rushing to give me. I have told people I'm looking to sell. They are coming rushing to me say, le lo, le lo, le lo. Have I made the plan? No. The land is also fully not under the company SPV that's going to do the development. But the buyer is running to me. Why should I say no? Don't blame me. Blame the buyer.
So I don't know tidbits. Why is there so much liquidity? Which is driving the NCR real estate? Where is this all money coming from? And thoughts on that?
So the NCR market and Gurgaon, Noida specifically is one of the only major employment hub you'll see in the entire North India. So that is the place where everybody wants to be. They understand their next generations would be eventually be working here for jobs. So there's a lot of interest and people understand that. So a lot of construction which is happening, it's not just for people who are living in, unlike Mumbai, where the construction would be happening for people living in Mumbai. We are developing a landing place for the migrations which is going to happen in next 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. So a lot of potential demand is there. And people have seen there's a lot of money made. And also builders' pricing strategy has, in a way, given a lot of paper gains to people.
Right.
And which has, to an extent, been turned around. People are able to see very substantial gains so far. A lot of it is in paper money, but there's still a lot of gains. So that motivates.
To all that, I feel another thing which is there is a stark difference between the reputation of developers from Mumbai and NCR is also on their execution capabilities. We were just talking about it. Some of the projects in NCR are taking 7 years to complete and then also falling behind the deadlines. Is that the case similar in Mumbai's market also? What is the typical timeline for a G+40 story building over there?
I think in Mumbai it will be done in 4 years. I don't know how 7 years people actually do it. They file and they put it on RERA and buyers buy it with 7 years delay. Means for a 40-floor building, 7 years completion is unacceptable. Means I know you have NGT, bans, etc. this and that. But 7 years, मतलब कितना भी buffer लोग डाल दें.
Correct.
ठीक है. Because people put 1 year का buffer in Mumbai. My tentative timeline internally is I'll give it by 2028. एक साल और buffer कुछ इधर उधर हो गया तो 2029. If you tell me G+40, okay, I'll put it this way. Any builder who does G+40 and 7 years timeline in Mumbai, he will not even see one sale.
Wow.
Okay.
And that has become the benchmark also, unfortunately, and probably that is why you don't see that many end users also initially, and that's because of the execution challenge that these guys are facing or whatever it is. You see, on an average, we have seen the hands changes 3 times before the end users come in a project. So there is an initial level investors, they pass it to another mid-level investors, and that's when the end users typically come in a project. So that's what we all see. Maybe that could be another reason with that.
Absolutely. Vishal, Delhi is an unsolvable mess. Like the infrastructure is not happening. A long time back, there was a land aggregation which was supposed to happen near Dwarka, Najafgarh, and a lot of places. Nothing is taken off. Nothing is taken launched. And while Noida and Gurgaon, these are the only 2 micro markets which are sort of rapidly, and again, job creation is happening. What lessons do you see as an investor and end user from Mumbai to this particular region?
Because probably how Navi Mumbai and Thane have come up, there's a lot of lessons that NCR authorities could learn from them, how they kind of supported. Of course, they had their own challenges in coming up, but I think a lot of lessons could be learned from that journey.
So see, Noida is a bit like Navi Mumbai. Both of them are planned cities. Matlab, planned
Comparatively,
planned is the wrong word to use, but Navi Mumbai started out the plan of 1970 कि Mumbai was getting congested, they needed a new commercial hub, new city. Navi Mumbai was created, it was well planned. Noida had the same desire to do. Gurgaon and Thane are similar in another way. Gurgaon is commercial. It has the presence of a lot of large heavyweight builders. See, Delhi and Mumbai has always had a vibrant commercial setup, right? So it always attracts a lot of population. Many people stay in Thane, Navi Mumbai, but work in Mumbai. Eventually, every city will have its own mini cities in a place like India, where cities are poorly governed.
Very true.
Somebody who's sitting in whatever Andheri will treat that as his city. He'll spend 90% of his life there.
Yeah.
Be it golf course extension road, golf course road, jo bhi hai.
Whatever, absolutely.
Everybody will want to be within their vicinity. So the key is, can you create clusters which are self-sufficient? If that is done, then the outside city does not matter to you.
That's so interesting.
So I think Delhi, I don't know if the Delhi has now the land or the opportunity to do that. Delhi has missed that bus because ancient city, it's very tough to push a city that has a lot of political as well as historical baggage.
Right.
But yeah, I think for Noida, Gurgaon, I think the examples are very clear. Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. And remember one thing, see, many people don't understand how wealth really happens. People earlier had this impression, agar paisa hai, to Mumbai mein rehna hai or Delhi mein rehna hai. ठीक है? Then after a while, people say, it doesn't matter. I have money. I was born and brought up in Navi Mumbai. I'll stay here only with the money.
Especially, I think after post-COVID, the digital infrastructure has also taken up. So people can afford to be connected to the world, could have hybrid model where probably they have to just commute to the office twice a week. So they can afford to stay further away from the cities and afford a much better standard of life as comparison to staying in the clusters of hearts of the cities.
See, earlier housing was also just a house.
Yeah.
Today housing is a lifestyle. So it's just not what is there in the four walls of your apartment.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's also about amenities, community. In smaller plots, you can never have that liberty. So people want an ecosystem where you're within your like-minded people. You have everything at your doorstep. It's very well maintained. Your kids don't need to go anywhere. So I think what DLF did with Gurgaon, Hirandani did in Mumbai, Prestige did in Bangalore. Eventually, we'll see smaller mini cities like that.
Cities. Absolutely.
Vishal, how is the rent versus buy mindset in Mumbaikars? Do they have a very, very strong requirement for buying an apartment or buying a home?
No, so Mumbai is one of the most forward-looking markets in terms of renting. Okay, Mumbai में the public is such that you may have the shittiest apartment ना, सबसे छोटा घर, तू pride से बोलेगा मैं rent पे रहता हूँ, ठीक है? In NCR and parts of NCR, maybe I'm generalizing, is that लोग का बहुत वो mindset है, लोग क्या कहेंगे, तो मुझे जाके दिखाना नहीं अपना घर.
No, that show off part is there. The societal pressure is definitely far more. I have also stayed in both the cities, so I can tell you, there is a far more pressure on a person to be owning a house here as compared to Mumbai. Everyone is still, nobody gives a damn if you own a house or if you rent. That's not even a conversation that comes up.
In fact, I do a show called The Tenant.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting episode I had. So I do a lot of episodes in Mumbai because I'm based out of Mumbai. But I was doing an episode in NCR where I was talking to the prospective tenant कि क्या बात करेंगे, this is the flow, the duration, etc. We spoke for a long time. In the end, he said, Vishal, everything is good, but is it okay if in the end I don't say I'm a tenant? Because I don't want people to think that I'm staying on rent. So I had to tell him, the name of the show is The Tenant. He said, no, because if I say I'm a tenant, it can create some degree of issue for me and my family in the building. I said, ठीक है, I appreciate the concern, but we can't do the show with a non-tenant.
I moved from Rohini to Noida 2 years back, and I ended up staying as a tenant for 1 year. And for me, it was, I knew I was a second-class citizen in the apartment. So
people look at you differently, treat you differently when you're staying in the society.
Absolutely. Everybody knows, from the guard to maintenance to amenities, everybody knows you're a second-class citizen. So
in
that's one
NCR,
challenge.
every society has two sort of groups: verified owners and residents. Residents are where the tenants also have a say, and verified owners are only the owners. So they have a separate conversation going on. So that's another tidbit that do happens.
I didn't know that. Okay, verified owners and residents.
And
okay.
in fact, there are some societies which are known that they have a very high tenant ratio, and their prices are usually depressed. The maintenance is usually not that up to the mark. So an apartment where there are more owners living, that is considered to be a more premium apartment.
Delhi and Mumbai, I think the rivalry goes across from Mumbai Indians to Delhi Capitals. But then another rivalry or the sort of differentiation that separates Mumbai and NCR is the sales on carpet area and super area. I want to get your thoughts. Though there are certain nuances that everyone should know that Delhi, in Mumbai you do not get that lavish balconies, that spacious balconies. Though in NCR every room would come along with spacious decks that almost 300 400 square feet
yeah.
of exclusive area,
6 feet, 8 feet,
6
10
feet,
feet
8
wide.
feet wide decks. So what's your thought on that, selling on the super area pricing or the built up area? What's the difference, and how is it impacting the narrative around real estate selling?
So see, we have to understand why super area is used.
Right.
Okay, it's not because they want to. A developer wants to tell you, that I'm giving you your home area, I'm giving you a lot of amenity area. His end goal is to make you feel that you're getting value for money.
Right.
Okay. A 2,000 square feet house, super built up area for 2 crores makes you feel you're paying 10,000 rupees per square feet, right?
Correct.
Versus a 1,000 square feet carpet area for 2 crores, you're paying 20,000 rupees per square feet.
Right.
My only problem in anybody who tells me super built up area is that if your plans are not frozen, you can't do super built up area. Because super built up area means your area inside the apartment, carpet area, plus the area outside your apartment. If you're willing to give it to me in writing, that only these many number of buildings will come up. Okay? This common area जो है वहाँ पे building नहीं आएगा for sure. Then you can justify to an extent कि boss super area and carpet area, there's a difference. Carpet area 1,500 square feet अंदर, बाहर का area जो है everybody gets 500 square feet on an average. So 2,000 square feet. But with the cases that are there in India, many times FSI rises. A plot of 6 acres which would have 5 buildings now has 7 buildings. So how do your super built up area valid? Because your common area is reduced. Okay. So and the number of apartments that you divide your total plot, that is increased. So anybody who tells, so I don't take builders seriously who tell me super built up area. I have the antenna. Chor when I hear super built up area. It's a rubbish term which I'm surprised still existed in NCR.
That is
NCR
the only
is a
thing.
lobby? Yeah.
That is the only thing which is talked about in NCR.
So that's something that we are also working on. Very soon we'll have the project listing prices where not the carpet area might not be the right term, but at least a lot of listing platforms are also not providing that information, is to have a carpet area pricing or the built up pricing, whichever if you feel that the balcony area is also exclusive, so that should be mentioned, that at least at what price point you're getting in. So it's much comparable with other cities, like you said, Bombay and Pune have, of course, Bangalore has also accepted that. But that's something that the NCR lobby has decided. Everyone sells on super area. I was in fact very surprised that DLF even mentioned this time. With Arbor, they have not mentioned it in the brochure, but at least I think if the iconic brands will follow it, the industry will automatically start at least mentioning about it, if not sell it at that.
It always takes that main first heavyweight player to take the plunge. Everybody follows him.
Absolutely.
And in a market like Gurgaon, it should be the easiest. Because there is DLF at the top and the next player is so far behind. No, if DLF does it, everybody will follow it. Because see, in a market like Mumbai, which is anyway so expensive, they have taken it to carpet, means your per square feet rate is anyway so high. On top of that, you're doing carpet. So a buyer is accepting it. I don't see why a buyer in Gurgaon should have a problem in it. Barring that first initial shock. 18,000 is now 30,000 rupees per square feet.
One more funny business which builders end up doing is other charges. PLC, other charges. So like effectively what you're hearing as a BSP, eventually calculating, you might end up paying like 20% and 20% more. And that is another way of sort of making the project not comparable, or just making the decision making process of the buyer a lot more confusing.
True. Eventually, you see, it is, how do I summarize it? You give such a low price to hook people in. Like we used to see in airlines. Okay? Flights from 999 rupees onwards. No, that is base price. Uske upar there is that air fuel surcharge, ye tax, wo tax mila ke, it comes to 4,500. It just complicates the cycle. People stop believing it.
Right.
Now when you see an ad of 999, you think, uske upar there are many charges done. It works only momentarily. It harms the industry perception in the long run.
So also, we also wanted to understand that realty boom is required for, we must accept that we are a capitalist country, right? And a lot of our development and growth is driven by private investments, and they will only come in when they see that there would be certain sort of ROI on their investment. Now you can take retail, institutions, whatever, but everyone is looking to make a buck. So why is there a wrong narrative, or not wrong, but why people hesitate if the prices are increasing of a particular city? What are your thoughts? Like, isn't that the necessity for our cities to continue to grow and more private money to come in to help and drive the infrastructure, next leg of infrastructure boom in cities like Gurgaon and Noida?
No, prices should rise as long as they're in line with what a city can accommodate. Okay, I'll give you an example. There is a city called as Damascus. Okay, in the Middle East, okay. Syria. Okay, on a per capita and purchasing power parity, it's the most expensive real estate market in the world.
Is that so?
Okay, why is that? Okay, because everywhere else there is so much violence, bombs falling all over. This is one of those cocoons which are safe. Okay, now what have you done when prices go so high? Okay, people can't afford it. A small cocoon is protected, everybody else is filtered out. And the life between that zone and every other zone, it's dramatically different. For cities to grow, my problem with real estate prices rising too high is you should not price yourself out.
True.
Mumbai made that big mistake. Today, when we see even real estate, non-real estate, with real estate, most of the supply is residential, commercial hai nahi.
Correct.
It's almost unviable to do it. No? Barring the 3 or 4 heavyweights that do a project, you can't do commercial now. If you don't do commercial, you can't generate new
The
jobs,
social
new
term,
setups,
absolutely.
etc. And the city becomes very static.
We are again going to the same hotspots, same downtown areas. The traffic is going in the same direction.
We need to have cities where prices grow, but if they grow in line without pricing the city out. Okay. NCR ka problem is that they get excited. Okay. It's one of those markets which it's very interesting for me. But if you ask me, will I ever want to take a bet as an investor? Yeah, never.
Right.
Okay. If the moment you start pricing your end user out, he should not be the guy who starts saying कि मुझे घर लेना ही नहीं है. Why? I can't afford it. Moment he gets into that sort of thought process, very soon even inquiries will drop. Because he will say कि boss मैं कर ही नहीं सकता ना, क्या जाने का फायदा है.
It's absolutely out of reach. I think that is also a point for a lot of guys in Gurgaon, and they are also waiting it out. A lot of those guys are on the sidelines. Those who, for them, probably the prices have reached that point that they are happy paying the rent. It's beyond their reach that they can even afford at least on the geographical location of Gurgaon. So that
Fundamentally, so there's one very stark difference between Mumbai and NCR. We are not land starved. So as soon as good quality public infrastructure, transport infrastructure will develop, the key hotspots, they can continue to still rise and job creation can still happen. Because people traveling 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, there are so many living opportunities which can come in. So like one very strong development which I am very optimistic about is the RRTS development.
Absolutely.
Once we see the RRTS development happening on ground, the new network which is establishing, I feel there is a lot more price headroom for Gurgaon. Why? Because job growth can continue to happen. So I feel pricing out people will not happen in Noida and Gurgaon till the time people have nearby areas where they can continue to expand. And the key micro markets, they have a lot of headroom, in my opinion.
So that works under the assumption that you say public transport and infrastructure will support.
Yes, and job creation continues to happen. Like that is the absolute backbone.
So see, public infrastructure, with the way I've seen Gurgaon over the years, I don't know, maybe I'll be going to Dwarka Expressway tomorrow, so hopefully I'm proven wrong. But otherwise, infrastructure growth has not been very inspiring. Will you want to take a long-term call on a city by saying infrastructure will come, public infrastructure, when it's not come for so many years?
It's only privately led.
You need to come with me to Noida for a couple of days.
I'll love to do that.
The Jewar Airport the development. I might be wrong, but it might be quite possible in next 5 to 10 years. We might be seeing Noida being a higher price than Gurgaon. Like
some parts of Gurgaon, yes. So we are also very positive on a lot of developments that are taking place in Noida. Jewar is, of course, one of them. The government is doing a lot to bring in semiconductor industry, a lot of IT parks and all. So it's a very planned development. Private money, so far there is a brand around Noida that we all know, so, but that is taking time to get rubbed off from people's mind. A lot of companies are taking up, because again I feel Gurgaon's prices is making for a lot of not just the retail investors and users, home buyers, but for a lot of companies and startups also. Even they are not able to afford office spaces here, so a lot of them are started to take the early steps into Noida's direction, and we could see a lot of development over there in the next like.
what is your perception and area's perception of Noida?
So the moment you say Noida, the first thought is stalled projects for me in my head. Okay.
Amrapali, JP.
And of course, Noida is, one place, the last time when I was there in 2021, I think, it's the only place where I saw so many guns here.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Really?
the brand we are talking about. Yeah, that's
So, in fact, I have a habit when I go, I like to see buildings and sometimes I get down on the road and take pictures. So, एक project था, I forget किसका. I started taking a picture. That security guard came and asked me, कि सर क्या कर रहे हो? सर पिक्चर ले रहा हूँ मैं. सर ले नहीं सकते. सर क्यों नहीं ले सकते? सर अलाउड नहीं है. तो मैं रोड से ले रहा हूँ, कहीं से भी ले सकता हूँ मैं. Then from the corner of my eye, I saw where that booth is there now for the security guard. I saw guns. अगर ठीक है मैं जा रहा हूँ अभी बाद में आता हूँ. So it's one of the, so that's my impression of Noida. But see, I'll tell you what, markets like Noida will grow if Gurgaon becomes too expensive, right? Thane, Navi Mumbai grew because Mumbai became too expensive.
too expensive.
So it's in Noida's interest that Gurgaon rises more and more. While it is not in Gurgaon's interest that prices keep going up to such a level where all the vibrancy goes away.
But no, I agree to it to a lot of extent, but I also feel the public infra, which is led by private players in Gurgaon, that's not the case with UP government. They are far more focused and far more proactive. So that's also something that is led by them as compared to what you're seeing there. That's why there's a different narrative. Let's see how it plays out in another couple of years. I'm positive about that development over there. In fact,
my one thought on this, always is that I've heard this from people in Bombay all the time, that Bombay is king, Bombay is king, Bombay is king, okay? Nobody can displace Mumbai. And I used to have the same thing about 15 years back when I used to stay in South Bombay, okay? And people say, South Bombay is one zone, but there's no fixed definition of what is South Bombay, but what people generally describe, Cuff Parade to Worldly, okay? The moment you cross the sea link, you get on the sea link, you're in the suburbs, okay? And people kept saying, South Bombay, South Bombay, South Bombay, it will never die. It took 10 years for it to completely collapse. Today, when you go to the same hubs, Cuff Parade, Nariman Point and all, you see nothing after 7:30, 8 o'clock. Kuch nahi hai. They price themselves out. Malabar Hill became so expensive. Anybody who was doing well, where do I go? I can't stay in South Bombay. I go to the next best location, which is Bandra. Okay. And today Bandra has rates more than most parts of South Mumbai. Because the talented, wealthy guys, South Mumbai drove them out. So they had to find somewhere else and they went to Bandra and they made Bandra better than South Bombay. So this egos setting that is, each location. Earlier I used to hear that about Delhi also. Gurgaon kaun jayega? My father and mother bought an apartment they bought land and apartment in Gurgaon in 1994, I think. Okay. For some peanuts, which has gone up some 50-60x. The land is still not sold. Okay. And that time when we used to talk to family, friends in Delhi, said, Gurgaon mein kyun liya? Ye, wo, this, that and all. Now when I talk to people in Gurgaon, so many of them are migrating from Delhi to Gurgaon.
Yes. Very interesting. So we have discussed a lot of differences between Mumbai and Delhi market. But one thing that is also common between the uber rich of both the cities are their love for real estate. right now when you're here, DLF, Dahalias is already in launch. They are selling these 100 crore apartments. And Bombay also feature a lot of them, of course. There is Lodha Malabar, Oberoi 360, the who's and who of Bombay wants to get their foot in over there. And these are apartments selling at 1,50,000. And that these are carpet area pricing again. So how soon will we see the 2 lakh benchmark also get broken in both the cities? And tell us if you are very positive on Oberoi's development also. And in fact, once they'll have the product, I think I'm the most excited about the next project from them. Once they'll enter, I think they will take the benchmark even higher, much higher than probably even DLF does here. So what's your take on these 100 crore apartments? Where is that? Who are these buyers and where is it going?
So the 100 crore apart, the guy who can pay 1,50,000 rupees per square feet, he can pay 2 lakhs also, 2.5 lakhs also, 3 lakhs also actually, if you ask me. Okay, he has the money. He's waited for very long, और इतना पैसा बना लिया कि मुझे अपना खुद का घर चाहिए, which is a no compromise home. Today I have that option. For many years you never had these no compromise homes. If you had the location, you didn't have the project. If you had the location of project, you didn't have the right builder.
Correct.
If you had all of them right, you didn't. It was like a slum redevelopment project. Which now you're finding that zone where you can get the best of all worlds at a price. 2 lakh.
I think there is another thing to it. The higher you price it, I think these are Veblen goods. These are called. The higher you price, there is more exclusivity around it. Maybe it might not be worth it if you compare A plus C, all the cost and all. But there is an exclusivity. If it's higher, I want my part of it. These are buyers that operate at that level. In fact, all the Lodha Malabar deals that happen every day, all the newspapers are claiming that this particular guy has. So you announce yourself that you have made it in life, and that's the story with DLF. Kamlias, we see the same story playing out. Everyone gets to know who's buying. Piyush Agarwal, these guys are buying apartments there.
And again, and that is one important point why I'm very so bullish about NCR real estate is people do not look at homes just as a place to live. It is also a place to park your money. A lot of people, the uber rich, they are not very comfortable with stock market. The volatility is not for everybody. And the tangibility of real estate, the fact that you can buy it, forget about it, not know what price changes are happening. So a lot of people do end up buying and parking their money in real estate, and that's one way the compounding beautifully works. There's no transaction cost, there's no taxation for years, and that's how compounding happens. And NCR people have seen that journey.
I'll add on to that also. So far, why Gurgaon and Noida also are seeing these 4,500, 5,000 square feet apartments, and there are so many in line which are planning to build 11,000, 25,000 square feet apartments. Also, there are some projects in line. So this apartment sort of thing has only been accepted mostly after COVID. So far, it was an investment play for a lot of Delhiites. For them, land meant investing in real estate, they wanted to get a piece of land. These kothis, which are, in Delhi, they are selling for 20, 25 crores sort of things. So now they are just getting the gist that they are not only looking for investment in these areas, Noida and Gurgaon both, but they want to make it their home. And the more exclusive, they are ready to pay the price because they are coming from an asset sale. These are not first-time buyers, of course. And these are coming from that. And the more exclusive thing that you provide them, there is money backing that. So there's a lot of guys around that. I feel it is starting that we are on the starting end of the trend also where this has become, which is, of course, in Noida, in Mumbai, people forgot about buying their own villas long back, but that's also something that even the good guys cannot get a good piece of land also now with the kind of pricing that there is. So apartments also has become one way to park their money, like I said.
These 5,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet homes. It reminds me of Mumbai in the early 2010s period. Okay, that time rates had gone up very high. It was selling. सब बोल रहे थे. I want to do luxury. I want to do luxury. People who had not done a 15-floor building properly, I want to do luxury. 1 apartment per floor, 1 apartment per 2 floors. By the end of it all, in most of them, you know what happened? You started out with doing 1 apartment per floor. You ended up by doing 3 apartments per floor. Okay, because it was not selling. So you subdivided the flats and had to sell it. Because moment you cross a certain threshold, and every city has their own that buyer does not come to you, or he does not come to you in time. So how do you sell? You wait patiently, tell you guys, boss, now I can't do it. 3,000 square feet ka house to mere se koi lega nahi at this rate. So let's make it 1,000 square feet each and sell it. Then your odds rise now, because instead of selling a 30 crore home, then suddenly you're selling a 10 crore home.
Correct.
And your odds rise, and sometimes people are successful.
Addressable market increases.
So now when I look at the data, the amount of people who are talking luxury, okay, and not just in NCR, to be fair. Bangalore, I think, is the only stable market, because I think Bangalore developers are very conscious that they don't like to see down cycles. So they keep price elevation very, very restricted, that the buyer doesn't feel it. Okay.
Very interesting.
Rate went up 2 crore, say 2.07 crore. And if it goes up 2 crore to 2.7 crore, now they will not be advertising it.
Here it is absolutely 180 degree. If a project is not constantly increasing their prices, none of the project of the entire builder is going to sell. None of the projects in the area is going to sell. So pricing is I think a lot of NCR investors are technical analysts. Price बढ़ रहा है.
Momentum in
That's why they want to
get in there.
Get in.
In fact, the FOMO driven, so a lot of investors are on the sidelines. They are investors or whatever you see. No, none of the projects are now getting sold out. Market to thanda hai. Though some projects might be doing 40-50% at launch, which is very good from the industry standards. But still, their idea is कि project to sold out नहीं हुआ. So that has also become the benchmark for a lot of guys.
But it's sold out to whom? The end user or the underwriter? That is the question.
That is
it's okay to say sell out, but who are you selling it to?
So lines are now very blurred.
Very blurred.
Now end users have become underwriters. It's just that they don't know. So underwriter, this is a very, very important term, and people really need to understand who an underwriter is. Underwriter is someone who assumes risk. And today, a lot of people who are getting into real estate, they don't know that they are assuming that risk. And the appreciation they are getting in this one-sided bull market, it's that premium. And as soon as the market stables or they're not able to move the property, they will realize they were the underwriters and the kind of risk they'll have to bear.
So basically, equity market में जो लोग बोलते हैं ना, I started out being a trader, but after I went to loss, I decided
long-term investor.
So trader शुरू हुआ trader से, end हुआ investor से.
Interesting. While we are at it, Mumbai, you mentioned around it that they did see that after the price escalated so much, the market went into a comparative slowdown. In fact, the NCR market also. So what would be the first signs of this realty cycles that people should track? That's where the red flags would start popping out, or have you already seen them?
So when schemes start,
Okay.
and some very offbeat scheme starts now, then things are tight. Okay, so
Any interesting scheme you can share? You've seen
so there's a scheme that I've seen is 199. Pay 1% now, 99.
What are you saying? Yeah.
But okay, and that is fortunately builder can take it because possession is 1 year away. Okay, but still 1% doesn't.
Yeah.
So for him, it is just a thing to say, "I have sold out," and then he'll go to the lenders, raise construction finance, and complete it. So 199 is quite this thing. 595 is no longer very uncommon. Okay. पहले जो था 2080 वो अभी तक I don't think we are seeing it in that big flurry. ठीक है? But 2080 is now happening to a large extent with big builders. Okay. Because big builders are in their, I think, the own trap. Many of them are listed. They have to announce strong sales. So to announce strong sales, I have to ensure my launch is a hit. So I will do everything to make sure it's a hit. So I think a lot of them are resorting to 2080 now. You pay 20% now, 80% of possession. These are for projects which are delivery after 4 years. Because the Mumbai buyer is very, very financially savvy. Okay. You tell him that you pay 40% the first year, he'll refuse it to you. Okay. Because RERA allows you 45% payment from the buyer if you have reached plinth. Okay. So in Mumbai, where you do 60 floors, you have reached plinth in 2024, but you will do 60 floors by the time you reach 2030. Then for a buyer to say, boss, I have paid him 45% in 2024, 5% stamp duty, 50%, so I'm down on 2024 on year 1. So he'll say, I don't want it. So that 2080 is coming in Mumbai to a large extent, where delivery timelines are very high. Okay. But the only difference is in Mumbai, people will finish 60 floors by the time it's 2030. NCR guys will finish 40 floors by the time 2032. That's the difference.
Yeah. Very interesting.
So Vishal, what we are seeing, so we end up working with a lot of builders in NCR, and with the rise in with how markets are rewarding the real estate companies, there's such a boom. Like almost 5 to 6 builders we are working with, they want to get listed in next 1 or 2 years. How do you see that as an impact?
I think it's a very sensible strategy. See, the thing is, people want exposure to real estate in India, either direct through buying land or property, or through indirect through buying stocks of real estate companies. The problem always was, did we have enough opportunity and players to bet on?
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Demand has never been an issue in India for real estate. It was always supply, the quality and the pricing of the supply and the quantity of supply. You adjust that, it gets sold. Okay. So anybody who is a developer with a track record, who doesn't have fraud allegations, okay, is okay with the customer, they get humongous premium for the market, right? Let's look at it in the buyer market. What does it take for a builder to sell out quickly in India? You promise him A, okay? You show that what you are promising him today, he's delivered the same in the past, okay? He's okay charging a premium. You offer him payment plan which works on his pocket. He will pay you. Now, why are branded players able to charge 25-30% premium to their peers? They're not offering a much superior product. When I see a product over here, product A and B over here, if you take out the board, I can't judge whether it is a tier 1 builder or a tier 3 builder.
But on a risk-adjusted basis, they come out ahead.
It's the perception of trust. Yeah.
He'll complete. Can you complete the project? In India, there are 4 brackets. There are builders who do delivery. Okay. The delivery can be late, but they do delivery. There is a second type of builder who does timely delivery. I promised it to you after 3 years, I gave it to you in 3 years. There's a third type of builder who does quality delivery. I'm promising you quality will be high, it will be high. There is a fourth category, timely delivery plus quality delivery. Which builder can do that? Currently, nobody. So somebody can demonstrate, I do both of them, he's king. Okay, because whoever promises that, every listed player today, he has one of the 3 specializations. मैं deliver कर देता हूँ, ठीक है थोड़ा late weight है. Second one, time पे देता हूँ मैं. Third one, I do quality. Fourth one who comes, he'll be the big king. But for developers who want to get listed, who have that aptitude to handle investors, there has never been a bad time for them to list. And it'll only get better.
The compliances, everything, I think the industry only gets better when there are more, listed players. So
one thing which worries me in today's market is people have the risk threshold of the investors, of the buyers, is sort of reduced. They've stopped asking questions. कि boss, आपका ये plan है, ये बना दोगे, the prices which you are commanding. So they've stopped questioning the builders. So just for the sake of momentum, they're entering. And that's how exuberance starts happening. So that needs to keep on check. So
in fact, while we are also discussing on the real estate, I think that also defines the real estate cycle also. Like when there are such higher margins, a lot other players come in also. In Gurgaon also, there were hardly 8-9 players by the time the last cycle had dropped. And now 30 more new developers have come in. And more get listed. And that's where the oversupply and we reach into that particular exuberance also. And as you keep saying, I've read your tweet that you say that almost 1/5 of the developers will go bankrupt, will get burst during their journey. And 20% of the projects will not see the delivery. That's why it's probably more convenient to be more with the builder side of things as we reach into the oversupply zone, more with the branded developers.
I think it will be very difficult for NCR to go into oversupply. I think the demand is huge.
No, demand may be huge, but demand is willingness to pay plus ability to pay. Yeah. The moment you go above a certain price point, do you have the ability to pay, especially when a market is going for luxury.
Right.
Because it's very easy to get carried away when high ticket deals are happening. Na? Everybody का aspiration है, मुझे luxury करना है. Nobody wants to sell Maruti. They want to sell a BMW. So when you want to sell BMW, do you have the capacity to do it?
Yeah.
Especially. So In fact, I'm surprised why so many Mumbai builders took so much time to come to NCR. NCR is a sitting duck. You have to manage the local ecosystem like in any other market. But in terms of delivery, in terms of professionalism, I'm surprised that Lodha has taken time, Oberoi has taken time, Godrej has taken time. They should have been there much before. Bangalore guys, they are much superior than Mumbai also. So I expect them to do, they will obviously leave NCR builders by a mile. Okay. Then I hope 5 years from now when I come, I don't have to listen to the rubbish of super built up area and all.
And
that
7 years of time delivery.
See, Godrej is an NCR native. Godrej, I will claim ki they are our native.
They are more NCRite than most NCR developers.
Why do you say that?
That's a conversation we can have another 15 minutes on just that. Another interesting tidbit Arun and I were discussing the other day was the entire trend of NRIs investing in India, specifically in NCR. And why are they investing? Is it the patriotism, profitability? Will they get exit? What are the loopholes? What are your take on that?
So it's certainly not patriotism. I mean, that is very clear. See, you have money, you think there's an opportunity to invest. इंडिया में वो हवा भी रहता है ना, रियल एस्टेट पे करना चाहिए, कभी नीचे डूबता नहीं है. It's a lie, but ठीक है, people keep peddling it. So I think at some point, a lot of NRIs say कि for my family, if I want to return back to India, I should have a base. Most NRIs who I know, and I've had the opportunity to talk to many of the disgruntled ones, okay, because they buy, then they don't get what they promise. They don't get what they are promised. If they get it with such a delay and with so many conditions that they regret it. Okay, so I don't recommend anybody from Mumbai buying something even in Goa. If you're not close to a location, real estate is not your field. Unless you have a resource who can manage it, supervise it, who can guide you. So NRIs for a guy sitting in the US or London and buying in Mumbai, that is suicide. Means hopefully it will change. I think the need of the hour is actually, trusted guides.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
There is a big opportunity for that. Yeah. I'm a firm believer that there will come a time before 2030 that there will be brokers making 100 crores per year.
There's a huge vacuum in terms of advisory because today broker, see the relation between client and a broker today, I do not see it to be a very healthy one because
who's the client? The builder or the buyer?
The buyer.
So, but then most brokers, they aren't taking brokerage from the buyer.
Yes.
So he's not your client.
Yes.
The builder is your client.
Yes.
That's where the fault lies.
And these commissions, they are hidden. And that for me is a very, very huge disincentive. Like it's a big turn off that the customer doesn't know what is motivating the broker.
And how much of it is also, in fact, a lot of game is just played out around the brokerages. You have also mentioned it, and we also would want the industry to move in that direction where the brokerages should be mentioned in the BBA. The buyer should know how much brokerage he's paying, and it should be transparent. There should be no on-form discount and all. In fact, so many brokers have spoiled the market for Dubai brokers also. People are saying that Indian brokers have spoiled the market there. They go into that discounting game and everywhere. But I think as an industry norm, the buyer should know. That's the case with across most industries where they know what you're paying for.
And maybe even cap the brokerages. Like the brokerages have to be. So I'll tell you in NCR, there are projects where you'll be offered 12 to 15% brokerage.
There are some of them.
So sell a 10 CR property, you'll be making 1.5 CR brokerage.
चलो मैं आ रहा हूँ फिर NCR market. अब यहाँ पे I'm
No,
going to
you
start.
said ना 100.
I think I'm going to start my धंधा यहाँ पे. I'll move from content world to broker world.
Anytime you want to move to this side of real estate from
Though I think given the type of things I say about builders, nobody will pay me. Okay. But to the point about brokerage rates and agreements, I think if we do that, it will be the single biggest step in raising the bar for brokers.
100%.
So, but I'm almost 100% sure
It will
that
never
brokers will only say mat dikhao. Because the moment it comes in the agreement and the buyer gets to know ye mere se 5 crores ki cheez ke liye he's making 10 lakhs, he'll ask the question, what service did he give me? Because in the primary market, the role of a broker is nothing more than getting you to the site. Uske baad the salesperson takes over, for most of them.
That's a myth. Even in primary market, I'll tell you it's a myth. there is a lot of work. Even when you're selling a fresh sale, there's a lot of work which happens.
Like what?
So I'll tell you, starting from unit selection, consulting the buyer, getting their money, getting the transactions, getting the financing done, till the 20-30% payment is done, we're still hooked. And then even after like 1 year, 2 year, we still end up getting a call from the buyer that what's happening to the project. Apart from that, NCR unique is a lot of these apartments in primary, when the 5-year, 6-year journey, they would be transacted 2-3 times before the end user comes in. So all these, the brokers who get up the primary investments done, they also have implied assurance that there would be exit, and they are the ones who are going to get exit.
But this implied, is it actually executed, or वो बोल देते हैं मैं आपका संभाल लूंगा, वो कर देते हैं?
So market पे depend है.
Market पे ही depend है. If it's a bull market, you could be very lucky. If things are going down the hill, it will be a challenge for most. And I feel that's where you say it, it's also typically different from Mumbai. Everything is almost entirely done. You know the plot is already who's it with. Since Gurgaon and Noidas are growing, Noidas is more developed in the sense that authorities are only giving land. Here you don't even know who are the next, what are the projects that would be coming up, what is the infra story around it, because it's developing so rapidly and so quickly. So there are a lot of nuances that... in fact, we would love to show the once our tool is ready also around it.
See, the thing is, if I'll tell you what, if I'll not be surprised if buyers are okay seeing a broker earn even 5%, 7%, 8%, provided he realizes that he's fought on my behalf.
100%. Very true.
Who are you batting for?
Who are you batting for? If you bat for me, no, and you provide me the right service, the right deal, the right unit, right now, see, every buyer knows, well, after a certain price point once you reach, the buyer knows that the broker is not on his side. If a broker comes and tells him now that, sir, I am on your side, I will do A, B, C, D, E. He'll be, for a 50 crore buyer who spends maybe 2-3 crores on his interiors, why will he be upset if somebody is making 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 1.5 crores as brokerage when he's provided him a sweet deal?
Absolutely. And that's why, like you're saying, the industry is meant to get disrupted. So far, people are investing 3 crore, 4 crore sort of monies with the expertise of using a broker who doesn't even know anything beyond that particular project or beyond that sort of a locality. And they have thought of them as financial advisors. So that's where a lot of disruption, I feel, could be done.
It should have happened long back. And I'm afraid by the time it happens, the stakes in real estate will become so high that to cause any disruption will have a lot of collateral damage.
Right.
It's easier to have done it maybe in 20 times. Imagine even when the market was in a slump, you would have thought that there would have been an upgrade. It didn't happen even then. So it tells you about the inertia that is there. In fact, the no broker promoter told me one very good line in one of our panel discussions. He told me that the broking industry is the largest cartel of India. How is it possible that there are so many brokers in India, but all of them have the same rate?
I'll disagree. If you actually come to Gurgaon, Noida market, the brokers are absolutely cutthroat, the passbacks. So what we've seen is brokers end up committing more discounts than what builder is actually giving. So here the market can be quite cutthroat.
It's very dirty in that sense. Yes. Yeah. A lot of it goes in the background and there are false promises, a lot of wrong expectations setting that happens before the sales. And then later on, a lot of people find. So that's why home ownership is a good 4 to 5 year long journey. But when you just start with the wrong expectation, when you're wrongfully done, even though you could have bought a very good product and it would have appreciated 30, but how you start your journey, I think a lot of people's, first impression is always left very wrong.
Very right.
In that sense, yeah. So also Vishal would love to know, where does Vishal invest his money? Is it real estate, stocks?
I invest my money in stocks, mutual funds, SIPs, but I don't buy property.
So no leverage, nothing in that.
I as you may have figured, I've got serious trust issues. So if I have to buy, I'll buy a home for staying.
Or you just probably know way too much to be investing in real estate.
Probably that's also the case. But see, I'll tell you what. If you ask me, does it make even investment sense in a market like Mumbai? I'll say not at all.
Very true. That's also very important aspect. Which
It depends on the geography also you're going.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, to even have an open view. So if you ask me, is real estate investment worthy? I'll say yeah. It depends on the options that are in front of you. If you ask me, is real estate in Mumbai investment worthy? I'll say absolutely no.
not as much.
But if you tell me there's a hidden location which has a lot of potential, there's some infrastructure play which has not been discovered by the market, I'm open to always exploring. I don't have a blanket yes or no to anything. If the facts support an opportunity, I'm always open to it.
What do you think of the data center play happen? So if you're talking about listed companies, what do you think about the data center play? A lot of companies are sort of boasting in the real estate space.
So see, it's a high capex, high return opportunity, which is why the heavyweights and one NCR developer is pretty prominent as well in it. But in a way, if you ask me who was the pioneer who's really popularized data centers in the real estate world, it's Hiran Nani.
Yeah,
who did it in Navi Mumbai, right?
Correct.
So it's an opportunity. Most players can't participate in it, but clearly there is such inherent demand that if you do the right product, right service, right clientele sourcing, it's one of those verticals that's at least a 10-year story, if not more. So,
Interesting.
but everybody who commits, like I see a lot of players say, I want to get into data center. And then I see the balance sheet, I say, he can't do it. So more than the commentary that I want to do it, whether you have the capacity to do it.
to execute on it.
So data center is a bit like luxury now. You have to have high capex and you have to have the brand to ensure you can get the demand in.
And access to low cost capital. So absolutely critical.
So debt-free companies can do it well.
Yeah.
You have been coming to Gurgaon for a lot of years. I would want to know how you have seen this city changing from there, and what would be your prediction for this region for the next 2 to 3 years. Probably we'll redo a podcast and see you back on your prediction, how they would turn out. What would be your 3 things, or what do you think about the city's future?
So I actually like Gurgaon a lot. Okay. If my wife had agreed, I may have probably looked to migrate here at some point, but she doesn't find it safe and whatever. So I don't get into that part of topic. How it's changed. You know, I came here the first time in early 2000s. Okay. When I think my parents got delivery for an apartment in a building called Regency Park.
DLF.
DLF ka. Okay. And bought it again, like I said, bought it for a pittance and they got, I don't know how many multiples of it. And that time you felt it was like an overgrown village, right? Now when I come across, it feels like a swanky city. It's probably the freshest city in India. Okay. When you go in, you can see that it's a city that's, if there's a competition within India to see, you know, which is a sleek looking city, I'll put it as Gurgaon, you know. I know many Bombay people tell me, it's a soulless city, dullless city. I've never quite understood these words.
Right.
Okay. How it will shape up? I think more and more commerce, more and more commercial activity, more and more dynamism, more and more residential projects that push the envelope. As many projects disappointing investors and players. So yeah, I think it's at that unique space where every 1 year when you come, you'll see 1 or 2, 3 good additions to watch out for. Like today when I was coming and when we spoke, I asked you what are the things to check out for, and you told me there is IFC and the Trump, so on and so forth. These newer things, as they keep happening, that's what makes a city, right? When these things are happening, then you know the city is growing. Mumbai for many years just stopped. If you ask what was new in Mumbai, nothing. So the best way to check a city is what's happening there. And if nothing is happening, then you know it's stagnating or dropping. So Gurgaon has a very good legroom. The only people who can screw it up are actually the developers and the brokers. I don't see anybody else screwing it up. Or some out of syllabus googly that comes in terms of regulation. Otherwise, I think this is a sitting duck that you nurture it well. And I'll not be surprised if Gurgaon rates become as high as Mumbai in the next 5 years. Yeah? Because Mumbai will stagnate or drop. Gurgaon, the top projects still have leeway to go up.
So what are the new area of near Mumbai which are developing. We heard about this place called, I think, Nana. How are these coming out?
So it's slow. So it's part of what people call extended Navi Mumbai. It's a Navi Mumbai notified area in a way, where they want to make a planned setup where everything comes through. See, outside Mumbai is where the opportunity is. Outside Navi Mumbai also where the opportunity is. All these areas where you have big land parcels, okay, where land is clean. Those are the places where big developers will go and create their own mini city. Okay, then it doesn't matter where you're 30 kilometers away from Mumbai or 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to Mumbai.
Yeah.
This is my life, I'll stay there. So in places like Nana, extended Navi Mumbai, Panvel, etc., or beyond Thane. Okay, now I think beyond Thane you have the Mumbai-Nasik highway, Mumbai-Nagpur Samruddhi Expressway. I think a lot of activity will happen there. In a way, it'll be a junior brother to what Mumbai-Pune Expressway did for the locations between. Now the same thing will happen between Mumbai and Nasik. Growth was stunted, nothing was happening there. So I think if you would ask me, are those investment opportunities to even consider? I would put those as opportunities because there's something new is happening.
Yeah.
And infrastructure players come which can open up the entire location.
Yeah.
Like here, Dwarka Expressway, I think for many years it was going on. And now you see on both sides, there's such big developments happening. A project brought it in.
Correct.
So while investing also, I generally look at these like differentiated insights, which are not very common, but which do have a potential of sort of giving you a heads I win, tails I don't lose type of a situation. Vishal, we NCR people are really looking forward to welcoming the Mumbai builders. Give some advice for DLF. How do you think this time it is going to play out for them?
So DLF, I think in Mumbai will do well now. Okay. The last time also, DLF was one of the guys who actually made money in real estate in the down cycle.
Right.
Okay. By doing what? By doing nothing.
Commercially.
No. They bought land, okay, at Lower Parel for 700 crores. 4 years later, they sold it for 2,800 crores to Lodha.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are the only ones who have made tons of money in the Lower Parel market. Everybody else either has gotten bankrupt or has worked with very little margin. Okay, so I won't say DLF in a way failed. They made money and one of the few guys in the down cycle. Now I think they can come with development. Now I think rules have become a lot more sorted. Okay, Mumbai saw this. A big structural change happened which people don't talk about enough. That is in the 2012 regulations where they cut out this entire scam of flower beds, balconies, etc. Earlier what used to happen is that the builder would tell the municipal corporation, I'm constructing 1,000 square feet area. He would take permission on that. But he would sell to three of us 1,500 square feet by saying 500 square feet is balcony. Okay. And he would charge us on 1,500 square feet. The default rate became 1,000 square feet ka rate is so much. The balcony area rate is 1/3 of the carpet area rate. Okay? Because it's usable, but it's not fully usable. No?
Yeah.
In 2012, a regulation came by a commissioner who was there for a very short period, just 1 year. But he said, there is no such thing as flower bed, balcony. Anything you construct is part of FSI. Okay? That in a way laid the way for straighter, clean-headed builders to get into the business. Otherwise, the honorable builder was always at a disadvantage. He could get 1,000 square feet to sell, but the fraud could get 1,500.
Yeah.
So he could price it cheaper and sell through. Now that's gone. Now it's very clear if you're a guy with a brand, your land is clean, you manage your ecosystem to a certain extent, you show you have product capability, it'll sell. In fact, I'll not be surprised that DLF, if they price their product in Andheri, it will sell probably as fast as Arbor.
Wow.
If they price it right.
And what if you could share, what are your thoughts on the right price being?
I think if they do something between 40 to 43,000, I think that on carpet. Huh? I know we are in a super area environment, but I'm saying carpet pay, 42,000 pay if they do it. Because that location is very good. It's a large land parcel. They can make a good community set up there. It can sell. It can sell very, very fast. And if they do well over here, then the remaining projects, there will be a good...
Very easy to...
Yeah, you have to just demonstrate in Mumbai quality that you can deliver. And if you do reasonable quality, you're through. Even Shobha. Okay.
Yeah.
Shobha to me is, if you ask me the top 3 or 4 mainstream players who are top in quality, I'll put it as Shobha, Oberoi, and DLF. Okay. Shobha is coming to Mumbai. It's there in
Yeah.
Gurgaon as well. I plan to check out their project tomorrow, in fact. So I think these sort of players, sky is the limit for them. Because, as I said, the day any builder can demonstrate timely delivery
With the
plus quality delivery, you can charge a humongous premium. And the proof of that is these boutique players who do it.
Yeah.
These smaller builders who do it,
Yeah.
1 building, 2 buildings, they charge 50% premium. Why?
Well, it's been a blast. Thank you, Vishal, for sparing the time. I know you have a wedding to attend, and you are taking out time from in middle of that. To all the viewers, if you have enjoyed this insightful conversations, we are just getting started. Do let us know what other people you would want us to bring on this podcast, and which other topics you would want us to cover. Do hit that like button and do subscribe to the Zeno Reality channel. Until next time, keep your investments sharp, and even your opinions more sharper than that. This is Gaurav Gupta, and he's Arun Bansal signing off until the next time.
Before you close, Gaurav and Arun, I thank you for having me on the show. I saw your last episode, El Deco. I don't track that company, so I found it a very enjoyable conversation to learn from. I think such an initiative that you've started. I'm glad. I think I told you that the last time we met, that it's something you should do, because NCR market is a relatively opaque market. It needs more transparency, more information. So I'm glad that this time you've started it. Good luck going forward. Yeah. And if you are following, do like, follow, and subscribe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.